Oh my goodness. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited for today's interview because it is dear friends of mine I've known for over a decade, and they are here today to talk about their son because he is a phenomenal athlete who has represented our country. So, Chantal, why don't you take us away a little bit and tell us a little bit about Tyler?
Okay, so Tyler, he just turned 22.
Mm-hmm.
He has been a cyclist since he was 13, right? Yeah, 13. And he actually had started cycling just casually, mountain biking, really, really liked it. Got involved in a youth club local to the Kitchener-Waterloo area, and he started competing, racing with mountain bike. The coach that he had recognized that he had fast legs, and that was Coach Rob Good, who is still the coach of Kitchener-Waterloo Cycling Academy. And he said, Tyler, I want you to check out the track. And Tyler's like, what do you mean a track? Like, what's a track in cycling? Like, it just, you think track running,
It's
but
foreign to him.
it was
Yeah.
foreign. It was foreign to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually started, he tried the track in London, Ontario, which is considered, I don't know, what is it? It's like the second smallest track in the world. And
Oh,
it's a tiny little
Converted ice rink.
converted ice rink
okay.
into this indoor track. It's not certified for UCI or anything like that.
Yeah.
However, the kids can train on this little tiny track, and it's
Yeah.
steepest. It's like crazy, crazy steep. I don't know if you guys are aware of indoor track is the velodrome you see in the Olympics, and the kids just going around and around and around on this oval
Wood track.
wood track.
And it's on an angle, isn't
On
it?
angle, yes.
Yes.
This one
Yeah.
in London is a 42-degree angle on its steepest. It is mental. Like, it's the scariest in the world. And that was the first track he tried. And it was
Start
like,
the hardest. Everything else after that's going to be a breeze.
Yeah. It's
but
been it's
this
been said that if you can ride that track well, you can ride any track in the
in the
world.
world, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the techniques that he learned there. However, he fell the first time he was on there, but Coach Rob just picked him up and said, come on, let's get going. And, checked him out. He was fine. And he just kept going, and he started officially racing when he had just,
Around 14, I guess.
yeah, just it was 13, 14. And he graduated to the Milton, Ontario Velodrome, which is a certified track. World events have been held there, and Tyler started racing there. Yeah,
At the
and
provincial level, and then at the national level, and then continued through to international level. He raced at his first international race was in London at the Commonwealth Games. And then since then, he's raced at the Pan Am Games twice now as a once at Pan Am and a couple of times at Pan Am Championships. So
Okay.
has a gold medal at the Pan Am Games.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like this all kind of happened in a very short amount of time.
so yes, so kind of going back to when he graduated and started racing in Milton. Um, he was racing just at the club level. So to do that, like, you're kind of 14, 15, 16, approaching 17. Um, Legally, you can't race internationally sorry, excuse me, like for your national team, so for your country team, until you're 18.
Okay.
So like world events, Pan Am Games, Commonwealth Games, Olympics, for track cycling, you have to be 18. It's one of the only sports that the minimum age is 18, unlike like gymnastics
I
and
was
like,
gonna say that, I swear. Well, even me
oh,
with volleyball, I was like 16.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So to race for a country, like your country,
Yeah.
or country. Anyway, so he he was with the club, KWCA club held him on until like through the pandemic as well,
Yeah.
which is really hard because Ontario, just like the rest of Canada, got shut down. So it was really hard for him to continue racing um, provincially and nationally because our track was closed, and he was getting to that age of just about 18. He really wanted to try out to become a part of Team Canada,
Mm.
know how this was going to happen and stuff like that. So we shipped him off to LA. There's the velodrome in Los Angeles, and he lived there for a little while, trained. Our track opened up for, I think, one race. And in the pandemic, Tyler came back, raced it. Team Canada coach saw him and grabbed him and said, "How would you like to train with the team?" He still wasn't officially 18, though.
Right.
So, but being able to train with the team, Olympians and Team Canada athletes throughout the whole country, they actually got a little bit, uh, the restrictions weren't as high for them. They were able to actually train, like whether it was
Right.
at the track or the pool or
Yeah.
the, the facilities, if you were Olympic bound, or,
Right.
there
Yeah.
was allowance of that.
I know. I can let the dog out.
Our
I'll be
dog.
back.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's okay.
She's like, come on, it's time out of the bathroom and talking. But anyways, so yeah, so Team Canada coach grabbed him, and he started training with them the year he was turning 18. And that's when everything really went bonkers. It really
Okay,
just
so let's
crazy.
pause there
Yes.
because there's a lot to like kind of go through in here. So how, how has this journey been for you as parents? Because I mean, the kids, yes, youth athletes, they have to be committed, but the parents also have to be committed because there's training, there's driving kids everywhere, there's the financial aspect, there is like all of that kind of stuff. So how did you know what like when this became a, okay, this isn't just like a fun thing, and this is something that he can actually like thrive at and that can take him places. How did you figure that part out? Because I feel like in that itself is a determining factor for how much effort and finances too that parents are willing to kind of like dip into. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I was the primary driver
Yeah.
for, I mean, there were times that he would do kind of indoor track camps. So it'd be
Yeah.
like every day. So we live in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. In relation to Milton, it's about an hour one way. So I
Okay.
would sometimes take him in the morning, sit at the track, wait all day, and drive him home.
Yeah.
And we did that for quite a while.
Mm.
And the one of the main, we did have like, there were teammates that, like, there was one teammate that we were able to like share drives and stuff like that, but only one. It is a very, very small niche sport.
It really is.
It
Yeah.
is like,
Mhm.
I mean, there's only 8 sprinters on Team Canada, and that's girls and boys. There's only
Oh,
4 and 4. So
yeah.
I mean, it is very, very small niche in Canada. In other countries, it is larger. However, um, we would drive them. We would go on weekends to races. Now, the financial thing, because of Coach Rob, he was phenomenal. He would always, always tell us, don't spend a lot of money. He's like, we are going to borrow things. We are going to, because he was in the frame of mind, and he would really teach Tyler and his other athletes, is that it's not necessarily the equipment that makes the racer. It's the kid. It's the child that makes the racer. And Rob started teaching the kids that. So there were times like Tyler was on borrowed bikes, like 15-year-old bikes, 25-year-old bikes.
Mm-hmm.
But Rob would find, a wheel, find this, let's put this together, taught, him how to build a bike, take down a bike, redo these things, and to appreciate, these sorts of things. Now, there were things that we did have to pay for, and the cost of that, it let's just put this, there are other sports that are probably a lot more expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
But there are also parents in this sport that would pay tens of thousands of dollars for their kids to get the biggest, brand new, bestest bike or the bestest helmet. But we really, really followed Rob's lead in let's borrow, let's resell something, or there was hand-me-downs from like an older athlete that had succeeded, and he would give the club, I don't know,
He
like
would say, save your money,
save your money.
because when I need you to spend some money, I'll let you know, right?
Oh,
And
that's so good.
when that happens, we're going to spend money wisely. So
Phenomenal,
really good
Mariel. He was really, really good at that, because we did see, I mean, I was always in the stands talking to all the parents, and then becoming a director of the youth club. I would hear there were a lot of parents that they wanted the the most expensive thing, and that's hard, because we all want our kid to do best and in that. But he also had his own dream, and I would always ask him, did you have fun today?
Mhm.
Did you have
Oh,
fun?
that's important.
Like, and I mean, even to this day, he's 22, and he comes home, and I'm like, so what did you do today? Like, just like and he talks to me, and he tells me about what he did and everything. And I'm like, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're having fun. So the financial from when he was younger, I mean, there were times we did have to spend, a little bit of money. But we were very modest with how much we actually purchased and gave to him and got for him and stuff, with the coach's support and guidance in that. But then when the tables turned, and he was being looked at by the Team Canada, financially, then things kind of change a bit.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
you let me know what else you want me to say, because I can go into that, but you let me know.
No, I think that's good. I think that's a key point for parents, all of you that are listening. And I agree with you 100%. Even as like from my athlete days, I never had the brand new things and all that kind of, it was always hand-me-downs. And you even look at like runners coming from Africa. I remember watching this documentary on these runners coming from Africa and how they are the best runners because they're actually running with no shoes because they don't have shoes, and they're just training and they're running in their bare feet, and they get the shoes like a week before the big race, and they wear them in and then they go. So it doesn't have to do with the equipment. You don't have to spend the money. What's important is your kid having fun? Are they passionate about what they're doing? And do they have the right like support system and guidance around them to get them where they want to go? I think that's like the key point of kind of what you pointed out there, which is really important.
Can I also mention one thing, just about the coach and parent relationship too?
Yeah, let's
Because
talk about that.
because that in us listening to Coach Rob and him saying, save your money, we'll get a bike for Tyler. Don't worry about that.
Trust.
It did, yes. And also, Coach Rob was very much like, let me be the coach, you be the parents, because um, when I became director, you started to see a lot of the parents wanting to coach.
Yes.
The parents wanting to go on the infield. The parents wanting to change the wheels on the tire. The parents wanting, and I saw the frustration in Coach Rob because he wanted to be the coach, and then so
He needed to
he
be the
needed to
coach.
be the coach because
Yeah.
otherwise it's just too many, what's that saying, too many hens in the kitchen or too many chickens in the kitchen or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But you know, so and I noticed it was really hard for parents. We're us. We were like, yeah, no, we just want to be parents. Like, I want to sit here and like cheer and yay. You know,
Yeah.
I don't really care to learn how to change a wheel on a bike. No,
Yeah.
that's Tyler's responsibility. And if that's something he wants to do, like, I'm not gonna. I mean, we'd see some parents, they would be carrying the kid's bike in the infield for the kid, and it's like, no, you drop the kid off at the door, let him go and do his thing. You stand up in the stands and you cheer. So it
I
was,
love that.
yeah, it was more typical for us to see parents that really wanted to get in on the action, and we would try and help a lot of the parents of the team that we were friends with and stuff to just say, you know what, like, let's just sit here and cheer for the kids, you know, like really just try and encourage the parents just to cheer because of this, just the too muchness of that.
Along those lines, one of the things we taught Tyler early and told Tyler over and over very early is that um, you're going to advance in this sport if you're coachable, not just because you're good, right? Good, good, really, really, really good athletes often get spit out the back end because they're not coachable and they're not going to listen. And so we always pushed it in Tyler, listen to your coach. It may not always make sense, but he's got a bigger picture of what's necessary to be successful in this sport. And
Yeah.
you got to listen to that, and it might not make sense because you're only listening to this portion and he's seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
really, really important, what we drove with him, and trusting, having a relationship and trusting the coach obviously goes a long way too.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that
I
was that was a really important thing that I think resonated with Tyler pretty heavily, and we saw other kids that were really, really good get, just not get the time and not get the effort from the coach because they were pushing back and making it difficult for the coach to be the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we should also like dive into this a little bit too, because like the athletes that I work with, they come in and they do a 90-day program with me, and I meet them once a week and they've got homework every week and all this kind of stuff. And when we're sitting down, like at the very first call with the parents, it is okay. This is, besides one other call later on, this is the athlete's journey. This isn't your journey. It is, you have to hand over full responsibility. They have to book their own calls. They have to do their own homework. They like everything. The parent just needs to back out of the equation.
Mhm.
And when we have the like graduation call from the program, it is so funny and also amazing to listen to the parents, because these are parents who are the ones that want to be the coaches. And, after the game, they're like, you should have done this and you could have done this and da 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 da. And they've learned how to step back and just be the cheerleader. And
Mhm.
they've all said, oh my gosh, it was so much work to actually follow through and step back, because you always, have something to say.
Right.
Uh, and then the athletes always have this immense sense of pride because they have now just completed something that was their own thing. Their parents didn't have anything to do with it. It was, they had to show up, they had to do the work, and it wasn't easy.
Mhm.
Right. And so I love that you guys are the parents, and it doesn't surprise me that we're the supporters and the cheerleaders. And really, so like, how have you seen allowing Tyler to just have cycling be his journey, not necessarily your journey? You're the parents of the cycler, but like, how have you seen that play out for him in life? Does that question make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like, talking about like the organization and making the phone calls and things like that. He does it all. Like he does it all before he became 18. I mean, he was like 14, 15, and now granted, at that age, we did tell him that we are your parents and we will make sure things don't go awry, like, like out of the scope of the coach athlete relationship. That's just our duty as a minor.
Yeah.
But he just owns it. Like, he wakes up, when he needs to. He gets his training done, he gets his eating done, he gets all that done. And I see, I see my boy. My
I
boy.
love that.
But right, but I see like an adult.
The responsibility.
Well, and the traveling started so early on. Like he just would travel with the little team, like the little team. I mean, not like, and well, now with the big team or whatever, but um he can go anywhere in this world and navigate in
Mm.
everything. Direction, like just little life skills, which I know is really silly. However, just directionally, he's not directionally challenged. And I
Yeah.
say that, like, to me, that's really, really important as a life skill. Honestly, it's just like swimming, it's just like walking, whatever. Like, if you can like just your transportation, if you can get from A to B and figure all that out and then get your way back, like the confidence
Confidence.
that
Yes.
builds,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Just
the word that kept on coming to my mind too, confident.
yeah, yeah, just that little life skill. And I see that. Like, he just like, he's been all
The
over the world.
the transformation that his exposure to being an elite athlete, I want to say it's almost like sending your kid off to military, right?
Mm.
It's that they're driven to succeed at a level um, that's different than just high school sports or house league sports and stuff like that. It's they're involved at a level in their responsibility level that the coaches can't do everything for them. So they're the level of responsibility that's just assumed on them when they have to travel and be in other countries and stuff like that. Um, they learn real quick
The
that the
discipline.
discipline that's necessary, the discipline for nutrition, the discipline for getting up in the morning and being at practice on time, or strength and conditioning on time, and it just it's built up in them at a level that we've never experienced before.
Mm.
So it's not like I was an elite athlete and kind of coached my kid into what experiences I had. I never had those experiences. We never had those experiences. So
Right.
he's crossing borders that he doesn't have necessarily the parents that are saying, "Oh yeah, do
This
this,
is
do
what I
that."
did,
This is
or
what, yeah, exactly.
Right.
He's getting into stuff that we've never seen before.
yeah.
So
Like, I'm learning a lot from him.
Mm.
Just yeah, I'm learning so much from him.
mm,
Yeah, which is really, really incredible to see. But then I think that also builds on that relationship of us, the trusting. And sometimes it tells me a little bit too much stuff. And I'm like, okay. But, in saying that,
can't
so
wait.
yeah, yeah. Um, um, but yeah, and we've actually seen older athletes come into the sport, which is it's kind of more common right now, and they've like tanked with the discipline. They can't
Right.
eat right, they can't travel. It's so much. And I say to Tyler, I'm like, for your age, you're so mature in how to handle the politics of it. Oh, lowly, the politics of cycling.
Like a sport.
Yeah, yeah. But just how he handles politics of it, doesn't get drama, into drama or whatever. But I've seen like older adults, older than him, older athletes than him, that are just having a really tough time. So
Mm.
he just, yeah, I don't know, he just got something.
He's got something. You guys raised a good man. So I feel like this is a really great segue into bringing in like the piece around like mental health and pressure and all of these pieces that come in that people don't necessarily realize or acknowledge when it comes to elite athletes and the pressure upon them to get certain outcomes and to be seen in a certain way and all of this kind of stuff. So first of all, like how has Tyler been able to handle the pressure that comes with, who he is and where he's at right now? And what about the industry? What have you been seeing in the actual like cycling sport in itself? How is it taking care of each other?
So like the funding isn't there as much as some of the other sports. So they do have a sports, they've got a sports doctor, like a medicine doctor. They've got a sports psychologist that they have access to.
Okay. Yeah.
She's not there all the time, but um, they do have access to sort of like the full medical realm. When he was younger, he actually had just, I'm sure, just like volleyball, like sometimes you have like your head coach and then you have like your little specific coaches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did have a sprinting coach
Hmm.
that his wife actually was a sports psychologist who, and this is when Tyler was like 14, 15, who she had talked to the group of kids, told them that you're not weak to come and talk. It makes you're
Mm-hmm.
strong. You're a strong person to come and ask for help, or just to like chat about whatever. And so that was really good. Like he kind of got a little taste of that. um, and he's had the sports psychologist. They've come into little chats and stuff. Do find that elite athletes are a very proud bunch of people, right? They don't always access that part of the medical realm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we something about Tyler, and honestly, I don't know where he gets it, because boy, oh boy, like anxiety with me and like just. I mean, I try not to like raise the energy. Like I try to be like, and our son, like
You
Tyler,
handle stress well.
holy shit. Like I don't know how he does it. Honestly, he just goes into a race and he's like, no problem. Like there's the other athletes, like, I mean, he would do an event called a team sprint. So it would be Tyler with position one, his other teammate position two, another teammate position three, and they'd be like not taking things very well
Mm-hmm.
physically.
Yep.
And Tyler was like, all right, let's just like get on the track. And but his coaching, his youth coaches really were like, you know what? You did bad on a race. That's a race. Let's move on. Right? That was the race. You take a
Mm-hmm.
moment. Okay, let's process it, but let's just move on.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Don't dwell in.
Rob would always push, which I thought was really important in how Tyler dealt with failure. Was he would say, you don't learn from winning.
Mm.
You don't learn you don't learn a thing. When you win, you say to yourself, oh, I was just better than everybody else. But when you lose, that's when you start thinking about, what can I do better? What can I change? What can I modify? And so you would learn from losing, and you don't learn from winning. So
Yeah.
um, he would always push that losing is it doesn't mean, like, losing doesn't mean you've lost.
Yeah,
It's
you're
an
not a failure.
opportunity. You're not
Yeah.
a failure.
No.
You've got this opportunity to understand and to analyze what happened and what you could do better and improve and
Yeah.
and strengthen yourself. So
Hmm.
that, I think, was a really important thing for Tyler to overcome. He was never a kid that dwelled on losing in a negative way. He never looked bad, like saw himself as a failure, and uh, um, I think that's because of his coaching, right? It's he was told over and over again that that very concept of learning and falling forward. Um, and
Failures, feedback.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not trying to say anything negative about Tyler, but he rarely won a race. He
Okay.
would come second and third more times than
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And he was always chasing that, okay, like just chasing the next guy or whatever. But and he would always go shake the hand. He wouldn't come off the track crying. And I mean, we've seen kids pick up their bikes and slamming their bikes like it was a hockey stick. And it's just like, whoa, that I don't I'm so grateful that he wasn't quite like that, because I don't know how I would deal with that. But he'd be, I'd have chats with him on the way home from races and stuff, be like, hey, like, how do you feel about that? Or you think whatever. And he was like, yeah, no, I feel great. I'm like, okay, all right, that's great. So,
Yes.
and I commend that about Tyler. Like, he's going to be going to Trinidad in couple weeks. And I'm asking him, I'm like, oh, so like, are you prepared for that race or whatever? And like, how's it going or whatever? And he's like, yeah, great. He's just like, okay, like this is just
Yeah.
him. And it's phenomenal. So the pressure, we do see the pressure, we do see the kids. I mean, when you're part of Team Canada, it's also the funding, right?
Mhm.
The more medals a Team Canada brings in, the more funding they get.
Right.
So I know that the pressure is there.
Yeah.
um they know the pressure's there, and they know that they're doing the best they can with what they've got.
Yeah.
And currently, it's not Coach Rob anymore, it's the national coach now. And he's doing a great job at giving the kids all the opportunity that he can. And yeah,
Working through the funding and
just working through the
making them work
funding.
as far as possible.
Yeah, because Tyler does get funded through being a part of Team Canada.
He's
Yeah.
carded.
He's carded. So is
Yeah.
that something you do know about the carding that
I have heard of that, but let's talk about it just so
Oh,
people who
okay.
are listening maybe don't know.
Okay, yeah. So um I can't remember how many hundred kids that are part of Team Canada, whatever sport it may be.
Yeah.
Um there is a carding, it's called carding. So they're funded. So there's just different levels of funding
Yeah.
within the actual sport. And then that really is up to each sports federation, how they want to make the levels kind of go.
Right.
But it's like all the kids will get the same amount, whether you're doing hockey, whether you're doing volleyball, whether you're doing cycling. So, and it's not a lot. It really isn't a lot at all. Canada is just not a country that has a lot of money in
Sports. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, and the money comes from the federal,
Yeah.
and then it's pumped down to
Distributed.
distributed to
The
so
national level
yeah,
organizations.
to the national level organizations. And then from there, then it's brought down into the provincial levels. And then from there, if there's any money left, you can go to clubs and things. And that works with all the sport. So I
Yeah.
think it's called Sport Canada. No, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the
Organization.
governing. Anyways, it's from the federal government.
Yeah.
And it's a Ministry of Travel and Tourism that does the funding for the sports.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for Tyler, so there's also a different amount of money you get when you're on the Olympic bound
Yeah.
team as well. And then that's sometimes just like an added, not that much, like just, and I don't even know, actually, it's an added little bit of money.
Yeah.
So right, so he's Olympic bound, so he gets the max that they can, and that money is supposed to go towards their travel because they don't get their travel paid for. It gets subsidized for
Oh,
cycling.
okay.
For cycling,
Okay.
so it's subsidized. So the money that he gets carded with has to go to travel. If some kids are living out of home or out of province, like a lot of them have to live in Ontario to train at the track year
Right.
round, like it's year round.
Yeah.
So Tyler just got home. You hear a bike in the background because there's a bike that he out of the car that lives in our front. Yeah, it's supposed to go towards like rent or cars or food and stuff like that. Can Tyler come and say hello?
Of course he can. Tyler, get in here, buddy. Hey,
He
how's
just
it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. You have a mustache. Holy shit. Last time I saw you, you were like 8.
yeah. This is his like big, huge training day. Tell
Okay.
what time did you leave this morning?
8:30.
8:30, and it's almost 7:30.
Oh,
That's
wow.
every single Friday, every single Monday, the whole year. He gets 2 days off a year. Three. Christmas Day.
I get sit down and say hello.
Well, you get sleep.
Well, you sit down. I'm okay.
You're being forced.
I get time off after races.
Okay, sorry. He gets
Usually when I'm finished racing, like I come
Okay,
home.
just some recovery, and yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's just we're just kind of going over a little bit of the funding, but not
Yeah.
like too much. Just saying like how Team Canada, whether you're in your sport or hockey or whatever, it's a carding
Yeah.
system that goes across the country, and it's just a couple hundred kids, like
Yeah.
400 and something kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports aren't that big in Canada. It's
Yeah.
too bad, isn't it? Like we gotta get this going. No, Tyler, I need to get you on this podcast though, because I
Yes.
want to like dive
Yeah.
into. I'm talking to your parents about like the parent side of things, obviously, but
Yeah.
I really want to get in with you and talk about training
Absolutely.
and passion, discipline, commitment, all that stuff. So I'm gonna send you a date, and you can say yes or no. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Ready to eat.
He's got
You are
to eat.
released.
So-
You are
He's
released.
got to eat. Yeah, so we haven't even talked about.
Can I make?
Yeah, you can make some. We haven't even talked about his Olympic journey.
Yeah.
Yes, which
How was that? As like, let's talk about it from the parents, like from your perspective though. What is like the whole, I don't know, what are two challenges that you guys have faced being the parents of this, crazy awesome athlete? Let's say, talk about two challenges.
So, not very many people. Oh, I didn't know this, but not very many people know this. So, for cycling at least 2 years before the actual Olympics is they have 2 years to get all their points because you don't. Even though you're Olympic bound, you don't automatically get to go to the Olympics just because you're on Team Canada. You actually have to qualify and get points and things like that. And they only take 2 years before the Olympics. However, you're training for 4 years, but 2 years before they get points and things like that.
In races.
And in races, excuse me, yes,
Right.
in races. But as well, for the Olympics, you have to go into a lottery just to be able to potentially purchase tickets
As parents.
No, excuse me. Purchase tickets to go to the Olympics. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a public person just wants to go to the Olympics. So I was in a lottery for 2 years. Okay.
You didn't even know if you were going to be able to go?
Nope. And you
Oh.
then get an email every couple of months saying, okay, your time slots come up, go onto this website, go onto this link, and cycling may or may not be released as far as the opportunities to purchase tickets. Now, one thing that we were blessed in that the year before the Olympics, Tyler actually had a world event in France at that track. So we kind of knew the ins and outs and like how that sort of process worked with that particular track.
Okay.
So as it was getting closer to the Olympics and James and I are like, well, like we're pretty sure Tyler's going. We're like,
Maybe you can
know
explain.
if
We knew that if he was competing, that we would receive
well, we
the
didn't know that
tickets.
right away. We didn't know that right away. I had to go into
Mm.
chatting with the whole organization for cycling of,
Yeah.
you know, if our child makes it to the Olympics, will we get tickets? Because typically
Yeah.
athletes are given 2 tickets, like all over Canada, they're given 2 tickets to their child's event.
Right.
That's just the way that it has always been. But we did not know that until getting closer to the actual Olympics. We did
Okay.
not know that.
Okay.
So that process of just tickets, like how do we get to the Olympics? Can we get to the Olympics? We don't even know. Like, is our child going to be there? So that was one huge thing for 2 years, was just like, well, not really 2 years because we knew before he actually went, but just the whole purchasing tickets and getting there, and then we're like, well, if he does have a chance to go and we get to go, we have to get there. So like flights and hotels and stuff. And at the Olympic times, everything's like super expensive. So trying to like purchase all these things, get all these like
Yeah.
eggs, ducks in a row, with not actually even knowing your child is going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we just kind of were like, you know what? We're just going to book everything. We're just going to book our flight, book our hotel. We know where we're going there, luckily. Really, really confident that Tyler and his teammates were going to have an opportunity to go to the Olympics. Found out that, yes, we will get 2 tickets. However, that was really stressful because you don't know until the night before he goes out onto the track. So we're in France.
And we didn't have tickets.
We didn't even have tickets.
Oh my God, you guys, I was
Less than 20
losing my marbles.
I was like texting, because I mean, fortunately, I know everybody in the organization just from my job in the whole thing. So I knew who to talk to and, you know, where to get the information. Families that don't have that access,
Yeah.
it's, oh my gosh, it's got to be super stressful because the organization doesn't even get the physical tickets until that athlete is in the country,
Wow.
is confirmed on starting lines, on, you know, whatever sort of thing.
Right.
So yeah, so we're in France and I'm like, these tickets haven't come through. I'm just gonna go. They're gonna
By scaling a wall to get in.
Yeah, and then with the Olympics, like the military is huge, huge. The security, the military is really, it's phenomenal sort of thing. So that's I mean, it was a big story, but that was one thing. It's just the whole tickets and getting there. The second thing that I know I dealt with, and I talked to James and I talked to Tyler about it a lot of times, but I was super anxious. I actually originally didn't even want to go. I was like, I don't want to go. I'm just going to sit on my couch. I'm just going to watch the race. It's just too much to go. It was so much anxiety, so much just, I was nervous, and I didn't want to bring like any bad juju or anything. Like I literally was like, I was okay with that. Like I was, James, I'm not going. I'm just not going. And I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna sit here. I'll have a couple, you know, people here, whatever, and I'll just watch and cheer, and everything will be fine. But James was like, nope, we're going.
Good job.
We're going.
Good job. Yeah, I'm glad that you did that.
And I was just, I don't even, it was so, the high was so high. Like, Mariel, it was nuts. It was just, so that, well, the atmosphere, but just my emotions, my whole feeling about all of it, like everything from like his security being at the Olympics, it's a huge world event, to us being there, to millions of people being there, just I was feeling claustrophobic, and I hadn't even left my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was, it was just this like turmoil inside of me where I was like, I was okay to like, I'm like, I don't want to go. I just, so James was like, no, we're going. And I'm like, okay, you're just handling it all.
Mm.
And I handle it all. And then, yeah, and then just the whole tickets things. And then we got there and holy, the atmosphere, like it was just crazy. And then we get to see our son racing, right? Like it was like that was wild. I don't know. Did you have a chance? Did you watch the
I
Olympics?
did watch it.
Did you
Yeah.
see us? Like we were in this like screaming. They had the camera on us because
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you know what? I did
yeah,
see
like
that.
yes,
Yes,
like
I
all
did.
of my family here were taking pictures of the
On the
TV.
TV.
Yeah, like we're all just yeah. So because there was
Oh,
a lot of Canadians there
yeah.
for their
Yeah, it's a big
kids,
trip.
right? So
Yeah.
it was a little tight little
And
group
they
of
put
us.
us all together.
And
So it
yeah,
was like
so
this
that was
little
yeah.
Canadian
So,
section
so
of
yeah, when they
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so that
Yeah.
they did that on purpose for the
yeah.
country media and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that was wild. And then Tyler did a personal best for his one of his events. So he's a
Oh,
swim coach.
that's
So
so dope.
yeah,
Personal
so
bests are
oh my
amazing.
gosh. I
Really,
was
at the end of the day, as an athlete, your biggest competitor should be yourself.
Mhm.
yep.
You shouldn't be comparing yourself to anybody else. You shouldn't, because you're your biggest competitor.
Yeah.
Always. Are you showing up? Are you controlling the things that are within your control? Can you walk away with your head held high? And so personal bests are like the best,
Yeah.
in my
I mean, I'm
opinion.
trying. I was like shaking. I'm like, oh, it's a gold medal. Like that's sneaky, right? And that was yeah. And I mean, at that time, he was 21 at that
Mhm.
time, and that was unfreaking real.
Yeah.
Um, and then just to be there, and then James and I had an opportunity to go into Paris. So the track actually isn't in Paris.
Okay.
It's a good hour and a bit out of
Oh,
there, which
wow.
which was
Okay.
actually good in the sense
Away
that
from craziness. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like just cycling people because
Yeah.
there was like the BMX and then there was like the mountain bike, and all those are sort of done outside of Paris. But then there's an opportunity that James and I had to go into Paris, or we were able to go into Paris, and we went to the Canada House, which was so cool. It was really, really neat to be in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then because we were like family, we got like special kind of treatment in the Canada
Yes, you
House.
did. As you should. You
Right?
raised the lad.
Yeah, so that was really, really cool. But if I could mention a third thing that
Yeah. Yeah.
really impacted me, I'll just talk about myself, is that um at the end of the time that we were there, the end of the races, we actually stayed we didn't go and watch the closing ceremonies because we were going to be leaving the next day, but we were in the hotel room and we were watching the closing ceremonies on the
Yeah.
screen just to see if we could see Tyler there, even though, and we did. He was at closing ceremonies, which was really, really cool. But we flew home the next day, and I walked into the house, and this a whole sense of like the high that we had, there was this low. Like
Mm.
I came home and we still had decorations up. We had a sending off party for Tyler. We still had like some decorations up. And I was like, holy, did that just happen? Like
Mm.
literally, Mariel, it was almost like the air just stopped.
Mhm.
And the feeling of like 4 years, like of our life,
Yeah.
let
It'll
alone
be
like our
4 years
son.
before it happens again.
And well, it's going to be happening, yeah, in
Yeah.
2020 or whatever. But now I know what those sorts of
Yeah.
feelings. So the high, like
Mm.
I'm talking nuts high to the literally I came
A
in
couple of
and
days later.
it well for me it was a while of
Yeah.
just like literally I had to go back and look at pictures because it
Mm.
didn't it the just the uh, the let not the let down but just the relief, like the adrenaline.
Yeah. Decompression. right? Like really, you know, we were talking about sending your kids off to military school or like whatever, right? But when you go to these things where you are extreme highs, even people, you know, when you go to Burning Man, everybody knows that you need to take like a week, at least 3, 4 days afterwards to be able to decompress because there are such highs and it's just a completely different mindset and community and surrounding and like all those things. And then to be able to be like, okay, bring yourself back down to what your normal is to be able to move forward.
Yeah,
That
that
makes
was
total
scary
sense.
for me.
Yeah, I was
It's a
going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought it up.
it's a good point that Chantal brings up because you know, we um, knew that there was that performance athletes that go to the Olympics
Yeah,
go through depression after they
yeah,
get, right?
very
Because
real thing.
build up of 4 straight years of work to an apex that suddenly stops, right?
Yeah,
And so we could see it also
Some of
in
our
the
athletes.
in the community,
yeah,
um, the athlete community, the kind of the release, but it was almost like going into a slight depression,
Yeah.
right?
yes, yeah. It reminds
Um,
me of postpartum almost a little bit.
yeah.
Yep, exactly.
So I
Yeah.
can imagine that plays a huge toll on
Mhm.
mental health as well. That um, I don't think we were quite prepared to see. Thankfully, I don't think we saw it so much in Tyler. Tyler really kind of switched and
He
focused to the next thing. I
he
mean,
loved the whole experience. He loved
Yeah,
it all.
but 6 weeks later, he was on a plane to Copenhagen to race, or 8 weeks later, he was
Less. Yeah.
in Copenhagen racing, and
Yeah.
it was just move on to the next thing,
Yeah.
which was really important for him. But I think there was
His
a lot of
teammates.
athletes. There was a lot of athletes on the team that struggled after the
yeah,
Olympics.
yeah,
With the idea that either I've got to turn my brain on to whether or not I'm going to do this again in 4 years from now or not, right?
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't come back. They didn't even come back into the country for a while, some of his teammates, because they were just
Needed some
Need to
time.
decompress
like,
somewhere else.
yeah, or they didn't even know if they were going to be able to come back to the sport.
Yeah,
And I mean, we had these honest conversations with Tyler about this, and Tyler was like, I'm sure like you'll be able to
He
get a
was
little bit
energized.
more, but he was like, I had the best time. Like it was exciting for him, and because he doesn't put that pressure on himself for the racing, and like you
yeah,
said, like, he competes against himself. I mean, he has to compete against other kids too, but
yeah.
he was like a champ, and we were kind of like, are you sure? Right, like me, I'm like, are you sure you're okay? Like,
Scale
yeah,
1 to 10.
right, and yeah, and I believe that he was very honest
Yeah,
with us, that I was like, all right, man, I'm like, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well, but yeah,
yeah.
so it's
No,
definitely something to chat to him with him about.
yeah, I will. I will for sure. It's definitely on the on the curious lesson or questions I have. Uh, so I have an interesting question for each of you, and I'll start with you, Jamie. What has this whole journey of being a dad to Tyler during his cycling journey? What have you learned about yourself during this process?
Um, Great question. Um, it's I've learned um, I've learned that his perseverance for the sport didn't come from me.
You're hilarious.
No, his attention span in this sport is incredible, right? This is
Mhm.
a sport where you work months and months to take a 5/100ths of a second off your time, right?
Mhm.
And I don't have the patience for that. I think if it was me when I was 14, 15, 16 and working in this, I'm not sure I would have been able to do that.
Mhm.
So um, he's really taught me that in order to gain these little milestones that he's gaining takes just an astronomical amount of work, right?
Mm.
And what perseverance looks like, right?
Yeah.
So that's something I've really taken from him the past couple of years, for sure.
Yeah. That's it reminds me of like that I think who is it, like maybe James Clear talking about habits, but how just 1% better and just stick with it, just do 1%, just do 1%, and then all those things eventually they add up and they
Mhm.
combine to create this big change or this lifestyle change or new habits, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that's good. That's a powerful thing to learn. Isn't it cool when our kids teach us things? I mean, Hannah teaches me things like 24/7. It's more like you can be patient. Be patient.
I know, right?
Okay,
Oh.
Chantal, your turn. Same question. Like, what has this really taught you about yourself, this journey?
A couple of things. Patience, definitely.
Mm.
But one big thing that I think it's taught me is that the way that I saw my kids' life going, like you go to grade school, you go to high school, you go to college or university, you get a job, you have, sorry, there's a little fly, you know, you get a job, like you like it's what we did, like that's what I saw. But what this taught me is that it doesn't have to be that way. Like the world is so, I mean, with the pandemic, granted, the world is so different. Your like your dreams, they can actually come true, right? Like I, I never ever thought, like, I mean, not that I was never sporty or anything, right? But going to the Olympics, like, I mean, that's just like,
That was
who does that, right? Like, who does that? I mean, like, first I have to do a sport, but second of all, I'd be watching it, and you know that. But it's taught me that, like, I mean, even for both my kids, but that he does, like, as a parent, my goals and thoughts and dreams for my kids are just that, they're my thoughts and stuff, right? But I'm learning that their dreams and their aspirations, they're going for it.
Mhm.
They're like achieving these things like at a young age, which is fantastic. But it's just, I mean, it's teaching me that, like, I can do anything when I grow up. like
Yes.
like what do I want to be when I grow up now? Like, honestly, it's taught me that, like, which honestly, Mariel, there have been times, both my kids, I'm like, so are you going to school? Like, are you, you know, like, are you pick
Yes.
a career? Are you, you know, and I, like, I'm literally sitting on my fingers and going, like, because that's what I always thought, like, you have to
Mm.
be certified in something, right? Like I just, that's just what I had always thought. But it's taught me that it's not, it doesn't have to be that way. Like
Mhm.
it really doesn't. And the world is huge. And
Mhm.
you know, like, yeah, so I
It
mean,
doesn't have
it's
to
taught.
follow their lives don't have to follow a specific predetermined
Mm.
direction. They're defining it themselves, and it's
Yeah.
what is either of our kids going down the path we would have chosen? Probably not, right? But it's taken them in a path that we would never have achieved because they chose their own paths, and we encourage them to it, it doesn't matter what you want to do. It doesn't matter. It just find something that you're passionate about and love, because
Yeah.
life's way too short, right?
Wow.
I saw I don't know, it was on LinkedIn or something, a very simple graph that um, really uh, changed my thought frame, right? And it was just so simple. It was like, the average person lives 80 years, right? And the first 20 years you're a kid and learning and figuring out life, and the last 20 years you're retired and you're enjoying life, but there's 40 years in between, and that's half of your life is in between those two moments. And if you're not doing something you love to do, that's half your life going past you with it, and not achieving dreams and not achieving something that you're passionate about. And
Yeah.
so both our kids are ignoring norms, ignoring the I've got to go to school and get a degree and get and follow this specific path that society seems to have laid out and required everybody to do to be successful, right? And going after stuff that they're passionate about.
So what it's really taught me is that that I can sit back and watch the process happening and not be so worried about their future, right? That's what those things, that's what this whole process is teaching me. It's not easy. I mean, there are moments that I will sit there and just stew over, what's their future going to hold, because they're not doing this, that, and that. But then I have the moments of, okay, no, there's a process. That dreams do come true.
Yeah. Whew, that's so good. That's like a good place to end, I think. Dreams do come true. Boom. So, okay, I have one more question though before we end. And that is for all of the parents that are listening right now, let's say their athletes are 13, 14, 15. And they're just in like the muck of figuring out how to actually parent an athlete who is trying to take it seriously and who's got, multiple practices, and they're being the taxi driver, and they're like they're in the heaviness of the start of this. What is some piece of like hope or advice or something like that you would give to I guess like the younger versions of yourself back when Tyler was that old? What would you say?
Do you want to say?
Sure. Um, I would say that what's really important is that they're following their passion, right? That you encourage that it's that success is not the medals that are hanging on the wall necessarily. Success is finding that passion that they have for the sport, or for uh, the in this case the sport, to enjoy that, and the passion needs to drive you, not the results, right? And the results will come. The results shouldn't be the goal. The results should be the product of chasing after the the passion that they enjoy so much.
I love that. That's so powerful. Yeah. You agree with that, Chantal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you guys. I want to take a second to acknowledge you for being the parents that showed up, for being the parents that instilled good values into both of your kids, and to just like continue to help them rise in their own unique way. And that I think being a parent takes a lot of courage that is unspoken. And so you guys have been very courageous human beings, and look at your amazing children. So thank you for being you, and thank you for taking the time to share all of this with my audience. I'm really grateful, and I know that there's a lot that they've learned from this. So yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mariel,
Mariel.
for having us on here and talking about our little journey. Maybe
Yeah. Little journey. Huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.